Today we're going to be talking about the different psychic gifts that a person may have. If this interests you, stick around. Hi, and welcome back to the Wholeness Shift. My name is Veronica, and if this is your first time here, welcome. I teach people about easy, practical spirituality and intentional living, and all of the simple little ways that you can create the life of your dreams. If this interests you, hit the subscribe button below. I wouldn't want you to miss out on anything good. So today we're going to be talking about a viewer request. One of you had left a comment on another video and asked if I could go into this topic a little bit to just describe the different gifts that a person may or may not have. First of all, let me preface this by saying that I think it is our nature to have all of these gifts. We as divine beings, as interdimensional beings, our natural state is to be telepathic, is to be energy, is to feel the emotions of others, etc., etc. So that's our divine natural state. In a nutshell, some people come into this lifetime with a full range, a plethora of psychic abilities, and some of them may develop over time, and some of us have to intentionally develop them to the best that we're able to during this lifetime. So the first one is clairvoyance, which means clear seeing or clear sight. And those are people who get mental images. There's a misconception that everybody who is clairvoyant can just physically see a ghost in front of them or physically see a person who has passed. Some of them can, but that is not the most common way that they see. Most of the time, it's going to be in your mind's eye or in your third eye. Like if I tell you to think of a picture of a beach ball on the beach, that image you just got in your head, that's kind of how people would see. They are given images, they are given things in their mind's eye, little movies that play or images that show up. The second gift would be clairaudience. Clairaudience is clear hearing, and that is the same thing. You're going to hear sounds that aren't really here, hear sounds from spirit, messages, etc. And they aren't necessarily something you will hear externally with your physical ears. Sometimes you can, but that is not the most common way. Most common way is that you're going to hear it inside your head. Like if I tell you to imagine your grandmother's voice, you can kind of hear that voice in your head, someone else's voice. Okay, well, that's kind of what I'm talking about. As I spoke about in the ways that spirit guides will communicate with you, and if you haven't seen that, it's really good. I'll link it below. But I talk about how to recognize if it's your voice or your guide's voice inside. And that's really helpful because you probably often hear your guides talking to you. You just don't realize that it's your guide. You think it's your internal voice, but it's not. But with clairaudience, that's usually how it will show up. You just get information in your mind, you hear it in your head, or you hear a song playing, or whatever the case may be. You hear a sound, a voice, a message, a song. You hear it. Number 3 would be clairsentience, which is probably the one I talk about the most on here, because although I do have all of the other gifts to some degree or another, clairsentience is my primary gift. And it's not uncommon that even if someone has all of them, they'll have one or two that they operate with primarily. Sometimes you only have one or two and you don't have access to the other ones yet. So my primary gift would be clairsentience. And that is clear feeling. And with clairsentience, some people mistakenly interchange clairsentience with being an empath. They claim that it's the same thing, and it is not the same thing. An empath is one of the other gifts that I'll get to in a minute. Actually, let's just do it now. Empath. So an empath is someone who is able to feel the emotions around them. They're able to empathize with the emotions that someone else around them is going through or that have been left over in the room. This is someone who, if you're crying, they're probably going to cry too. Or if you're in a bad mood, they're going to get grumpy too. And that's because they are feeling your emotions, or you are feeling someone else's emotions. Whereas clairsentience, they have all of the gifts of an empath and the abilities of an empath, plus more. They are able to physically feel all of the energy around them, whether it's an emotion or not. It's just, they pick up the energy signatures around them. So you could just be sitting there minding your own business, and all of a sudden you feel an entity enter the room, or you know there's a ghost in your presence, or you know there's an ET being in your presence, or whatever the case may be. You can physically feel in your body the energies that are around you in your space that are not physically visible. Now, along with that, you're usually able to feel the physical symptoms other people may have. You might feel their pain, you might feel their nausea, you might feel their headache. But yeah, so it's a step above empath. They're all equal. None's better than the other. Stay humble, you guys. But it's everything that an empath experiences in addition to all of the physical stuff and being able to feel the spirits around you. I kind of blundered through that, but I hope you get my point. Okay, so next let's talk about claircognizance. Claircognizance means clear knowing. And that sometimes can also be referred to as an intuitive. And that just means your intuition is on point. You just know things without having any reason to have known them. You just feel like you were downloaded information about a person, place, thing, situation that you just know. I call it getting a knowing. I don't know what other term to use for it. That's just always what I've called it. I was given a knowing about something. Okay, clairaudience. Clairaudience is clear smelling. Say you're sitting here and all of a sudden you just get a smell of roses, or you get the scent of your grandmother's Shalimar perfume in the room, or your grandfather's pipe, something like that. Like you get a smell that there's no reason that smell should be there. And clairgustance is clear tasting, and it's the same thing. You get a taste in your mouth without the physical thing actually being in your mouth. All of a sudden you're just tasting oranges, or you're tasting coconut, or whatever the case may be. You're tasting your grandma's chocolate cake, whatever it may be. You're given the ability to taste what isn't physically there as a psychic message. Hey, so this is me sitting here at a later time doing some editing, and I realized that I forgot to mention channeling. Channeling is when you have the ability to be an interpreter for spiritual messages or information that comes through. And there are different kinds of channeling. You can just be an interpreter. You can do trance channeling, which is where you just kind of go to sleep and go away, and that entity uses your body as a vessel to communicate. There are all different ways to accomplish channeling, and that is a gift that some people have as well. So I hope this helped to answer your questions about what are the possible gifts that a person may have. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below or send me a message. I get all of your messages and I read every single one of them. So stay safe out there, you guys. My love and thoughts and prayers are with you all. And I actually do pray for you guys all the time. I pray for all of my subscribers. So stay safe. Let me know how you're doing. Check in once in a while. Until next time.